Let's welcome in CBS Sports NBA insider, the coach, Avery Johnson, joining us now. Coach, exciting action here in Game 4, pivotal moments for this series. But the big story coming out of it is not just a 2-2 tie for the series, but Anthony Davis and his health moving forward. Groin injuries tend to linger. They don't just go away, especially when we're talking about a big who's as athletic as Davis is. Just your initial reactions to this, Coach. How much of a threat is this to the playoff chances of LA right now, not knowing the extent of that injury?
Yeah, it's a serious threat. Whenever you talk about Anthony Davis, you're always concerned about not his ability to play the game of basketball, but his health. And he just hasn't proven over the course of his career that he's able to remain viable and sustain a healthy body to be able to compete at a high level. Groin injuries and hamstring injuries, they're all temperamental. And you just don't know the prognosis of such an injury. It always lingers. Normally, if you have a strained groin, you are out for maybe about a week. If you have a pulled groin, you're done for the season. So it remains to be seen the extent of this injury. This is why I was really concerned about the Lakers in this series. Sure, if the Lakers are healthy, they're the better team, they're the more experienced team. But this is one of the reasons why I picked the Phoenix Suns to win this series, independent of preseason predictions, because I'm just not convinced right now that LeBron James and or Anthony Davis can remain healthy against a very explosive, deep Phoenix Suns team.
Yeah, never really a matter of ability, but durability coming into question here, Coach. We do remember LeBron did have a lingering groin injury a season ago. Hopefully this injury to AD is not of that extent, but we got to talk about LBJ in year 18. He's the oldest player in this series right now, also averaging career lows in any given playoff series in points and in rebounds. Is LeBron and this supporting cast, enough for the Lakers to get it done if AD can't go until perhaps the second round?
No way. If AD is out for the rest of this series, the Lakers are in big trouble. You look at the Suns, and this doesn't say anything negative about LeBron James' greatness. He just doesn't have enough guys and enough offensive firepower to get it done against the Phoenix Suns. All 5 Suns scored in double figures. Jay Crowder found the basket again. He was struggling from the three-point line coming into this game and even dating back to the NBA Finals last year. But he made 3 threes. His defense, obviously was magnified, especially with AD not being on the floor. Chris Paul, CP3 was back today. He had his best game of the series, his leadership. Mikal Bridges made some big threes. And then if AD's not there and you're relying just on Gasol, then look at what happened with DeAndre Ayton. 14 points, 17 rebounds. He was dominant inside. The Lakers didn't have an answer for him. Lots of power dunks. So without AD, and you can't just rely on LeBron James, the Lakers are in trouble against the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah, Ayton's force being felt at both ends of the court in the absence of Anthony Davis. And you mentioned CP3 there, 18 points, 9 assists here. Did you feel like from a body language standpoint, a health standpoint, that Chris Paul turned a corner here in this series? He seemed to be favoring that shoulder, playing a little hesitant in games 2 and 3, but here in game 4, did you see him scot-free?
No, and Monty Williams, they talked about it in terms of him warming up. If he was warming up in a way that the coach, Monty Williams, who obviously is NBA Coach of the Year by the coaches, and he will win the award, that they could build that type of confidence. So it started in warm-ups. And then it also showed early in the game, Chris Paul first made basket. You could just see it from a body language standpoint, from a confidence standpoint. And then Chris Paul's a guy also that loves confrontation and conflict on the court. He never shies away from it. But when he's not healthy, he doesn't want confrontation or contact. But you can just see it, look in his eyes. He really didn't have that bandage on his right shoulder. You didn't see him working on his shoulder as much when he came out of the game. So this CP3, when he's healthy, and the Suns are playing like a top team in the Western Conference, like they were all season when they finished second in the Western Conference in terms of their record. this is a very dangerous team.
Yeah, this was a Suns team that was not a playoff team a year ago. What changes? You had Chris Paul. You're now a 2 seed. So his worth, we know what it is when it comes to playoff time and crunch time in this game. One last one for you here, Coach. Western Conference is always lauded as the superior conference, but here we are in the playoffs, and everybody's sidestepping, nobody really announcing themselves as the favorite. I want you to power rank it right now. From what you've seen thus far in the playoffs, who are your top 3 teams out west?
Well, my top 3 teams out west is still Utah at the top. Obviously, they've taken the lead in this series against Memphis, and they're the better team. They're the deeper team. I would put the Mavericks second because they're still in control of that series against the Clippers. And if they can beat the Clippers tonight, I wouldn't say they would put a nail in the coffin, but, boy, they would take a commanding 3-1 lead. And then these Phoenix Suns, I still think they're the third best team right now currently in the playoffs. If they can go home and win Game 5, that would put them in the driver's seat. And I'm only saying that only if Anthony Davis can't play in Game 5 or Game 6 in this series.
Exciting action awaits, and he'll be with us through it all. Thanks for breaking it down, Coach. We appreciate you.
Thanks.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.